Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video. And for this one it is Gauntlet, and if I sound less than enthusiastic it's not because I hate the game, it's because this is the second time I've had to do this video. The first one didn't fucking work. So alright, this came out in 1985 from Atari Games. And this one did start something pretty big in the world of gaming. Following on from this, there were a near endless array of games based on it, and they were all referred to as Gauntlet clones. So yeah, it certainly fired up something, and yet when you first see it, it's a bit difficult to see why it did, because the gameplay itself is quite simple, and the actual game design is somewhat simple. But amazingly, in 1985, there really wasn't very much like it, especially in terms of arcade coin-ops. Now, the reason for this being unique, shall we say, is that it was the first to allow 4 players simultaneous. Of course, once it came along, there were any number of games that came along that allowed 4 players simultaneously playing at the same time, but this was the first one, because later on you got things like fucking Quartet, which makes you think that Gauntlet had a lot to answer for. But well, it is basically as close to an RPG as coin-op games could get in 1985. Now, obviously, as things moved on, they became a lot more RPG-ish. But yes, around this time, this was basically it. Now, don't, for one moment think I'm saying this is an RPG. It is not. But it was as close to an RPG as arcade games could go. Now, each player had his choice of character. You could be a warrior, Valkyrie, wizard or elf. They all have strengths and weaknesses. The warrior has the best hand-to-hand combat. I think the warrior also has the best armor, but his shots are the slowest, and he also has the slowest firing rate. And the warrior's magic use is awful. It's the worst of the lot. The wizard obviously has the best magic rate. His shot power and speed is pretty good, but his armor, well, he doesn't have any, so he takes the most damage, and his hand-to-hand fighting is abysmal. The elf has the fastest shot speed, also the fastest firing rate. His armor is okay. He can also fire through cracks in the wall where there are like diagonal joins, and his use of magic is, well, it's better than the warrior. It's not fantastic, but it's certainly not the worst. And I think there was something else about the elf that was pretty good as well, but I can't remember it. But his hand-to-hand was not great, so he really was better off avoiding hand-to-hand combat. And then the Valkyrie is the real jack of all trades. She's not the worst at anything, but she's not the best at anything either. And in order to choose which character you're going to be, depending on which slot you inserted the coins in, which is good in theory, but if you look at the list here from top to bottom, On the arcade cabinet, that's where their controls were positioned going from left to right, which means that the warrior was at the leftmost side of the cabinet and the elf was at the rightmost side. And it meant that if you were playing as either of those characters, you actually spent most of the time watching the screen at a rather awkward angle. It wasn't all that great. When I played this game, I spent most of the time playing as the wizard. Not because I thought it was the best character, but because, well, his position on the cabinet meant it was the only one I could really use all that well. So, yeah. It was a bit limited in that regard. Anyway, let's bung a few credits in. Each coin gives you 700 health, so I'll bung in 3 for the moment. I dare say I'll add more. As you can see, I am playing as the yeah, as that. But that class actually got removed from the game, so I'll play as the warrior instead.
Well
so
done.
here we go.
Treasure, 100 points.
You get a bit of a guide as you start off. So as you see, the treasure scores you 100. We'll lose 8 health every time a ghost hits us. That pile of skulls or bones there is the generator. You destroy that and no more ghosts will appear. That applies to all of the creatures. Destroy their generator and they'll stop appearing. So the key, pretty self-explanatory. That in front of me is a door, but I'm not going to go through there. We'll go through levels 2, 3, 4, etc, etc. We'll do them in order rather than skipping levels. So there are also potions, which I've already covered as far as like the magic use. Pick up the potion and here we go.
Save potions for later use.
I can use the potion now and get rid of all of those ghosts. If I was the wizard, I would have also destroyed the 2 generators there. Pick up the rest of the treasure. Now you will find later on potions that give you like ability boosts. So you can do hand-to-hand combat better, or you can your shots will do more damage, or you get better armor, or anything like that. There's also a talisman which appears later on, which gives you limited invisibility, so none of the enemy creatures can see you unless you attack them. This level is a bit of a cunt. There's so many ghosts and that all around here. So you want to destroy the generators as quickly as possible. Later on, some walls can be destroyed. There are also some like traps. If you set off the trap, it usually has some effect. Usually walls disappearing. The door in this room is around the corner here. Yeah, there it is. There's also food, which if you eat or pick that up, it gives you 100 health. There's 2 types of food. One can be shot. If you do that, of course, you destroy it and you annoy everybody else who's playing. And just to really rub it in, the voiceover says who shot it, so you can't hide away from the fact that it was you. And once you reach some later levels, I think it's once you get to about level 6 onwards, the rooms start becoming like randomly generated, so you don't really know what's going to come next. So if we do some hand-to-hand, you can see once you simply walk into them and fight them hand-to-hand. The warrior is by far the best one for that. If you were playing as the wizard, you really would not want to be doing that. You'd want to rely entirely on your shots. what else? Regarding the potions, I think I said that about the food can be shot and destroyed. Same with potions. If you shoot the potion, it will have some effect, but not as much as if you'd actually picked it up and then used it. In front of me here, that bottle, that is food, but that is the food that can be destroyed, so you want to be careful around that. Alright, so increased health by 100 thanks to picking that up. Of course, I've now released all these fuckers, so let's sort them out. There are other creatures that appear. At the moment all we've seen are the grunts and the ghosts. There are demons which can fire shots at you. There are lobbers, they also fire shots at you, but they will run away if you try to attack them hand to hand, so really it's best to just shoot them. There is a thief who appears, and he doesn't usually come along until later on. He will steal a item from you. If you shoot him, you get it back. Well, it gets left and you can pick it up. There is Death. Now he cannot be killed by shots or by hand-to-hand combat. You have to use magic to kill him. I'm sure there are other... Oh yeah, there are wizards. They will sometimes go invisible. I think they also fire shots as well. I'm going to clear out this level, but I'm not going to take that exit to level 8. We'll carry on doing the other levels in order. So let's go back, go to level 5. So yeah, this is the first level where the demons appear. There we go. The game, as far as I'm aware, doesn't end. It just keeps on, you know, you keep on going through room after room after room, but yeah, there isn't actually like a way out of this place. I think the way out is in the centre of this level, so but what you're seeing here, this is basically the entire game. As a multiplayer game, I think it is pretty good. I do like playing it. I've never actually played this with 4 players. The most I've played with is 3, and it wasn't bad.
Is about to die.
Alright, so we're low on health, so let's bung in a few more credits. I'm not about to die now. Alright, let's bugger off to level 6. So yeah, these are the, okay, so it's sorcerers, not wizards. When they are invisible you can't shoot them, but when they show up again, obviously then you can either shoot or fight hand to hand. Fuck off. I'll grab that potion. So, what do I reckon to the game then? Well, let's do the review part. Graphically, it's okay. For 1985, it did look pretty impressive. I wouldn't say it stood the test of time particularly well. It does look rather dated now. Audio, again, at the time it was great, but yeah, again, it's not really stood the test of time all that well. There's far worse out there in terms of like audio and visuals, so you know you can't say it's a dreadful game, you know, in either of those departments. And then as far as the gameplay goes, well, like I've just said, as a multiplayer game, it is It is great. Back when, multiplayer games really were about social gaming. It was multiplayer with 4 of you there together playing the game.
Use magic to kill death.
As you can hear, the speech is rather muffled, to put it mildly. Right, so that's using the potion, and that killed Death, who was heading towards me. Now, if I was the wizard, I've already shown the using the potion, haven't I? I feel about that. But yeah, if you were the wizard, you would have taken out the generators as well, so it's much more beneficial. If you are playing this as a multiplayer, it is best to make sure that each character, that each player does, grab everything that is better suited to their ability. A lot of the time you'll get people who play the game, say as the warrior, but will still go around grabbing everything they can. So even though it would be best if they didn't have the potions and let the wizard get it, they would still do that anyway. So that's Death killed again. But while it is extremely good to play in a multiplayer game, it's not so great as a single player. It does get a bit repetitive. As a lob has just hit me. And some of the levels are downright annoying, and this is one of them. Now, once I've cleared out this area here, I will show you why. There's one of the special potions that I need, which would give me some enhanced abilities. I'll do that so I can kill off Death there. So yeah, those demons were all appearing through that gap. So
Make wall disappear.
Alright, so there's another section of the area that's gone because I activated that trap. So we can come back down here and you'll see where the whoops, press the magic button instead. Which you'll see, yeah, so this area now, there was a wall there, but it's now gone. So let's kill everyone else here. Now this flashing thing in well, I've just walked past. It's actually in the other section, I can't get to it. That's your transporter. And on this level you have to use the transporters.
Warrior needs food badly.
I'm bugging a couple more credits just so I can finish showing off this level. Oh fuck it, there's another Death there. There we go. Right, so this is a transporter. Now you use it and it sends you to the nearest one, the closest visible one. But it's done, there is a bit of random element to it. You have to do it pixel perfect, because this one where it sent me is the one I need to go to. But I have to be the other side of the wall, and it doesn't send you there. So now we spend a fucking age constantly going backwards and forwards until, yeah, finally the it puts you the right side of the fucking wall.
I've not seen such bravery.
Now in the video that didn't work, I was having to spend a fucking age just trying to get the bloody transporter thing there to work properly. So it hasn't worked out too badly this time, but that is one area where the game becomes extremely bloody annoying, and where I think the design needed a bit of work done to it. I'm clearly not able to do hand-to-hand to that many grunts. Now that special potion that was around here to improve my ability is surrounded by demons who of course fire, they shoot fireballs, so they will almost certainly have destroyed it by the time I get there. In fact, if we just have a look around, yeah, it's already, oh no, it's still there. I guarantee it won't be there though by the time I arrive. Well, there it is.
Warrior now has extra shot speed.
That's the first time that I can remember that it has survived. As you can see, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but yeah, it does make some. This level is a monumental pain in the arse. I don't like it all that much. But it's around here that levels start to become a bit randomly generated. And although that said, this is the third time I've played this main version, and it's the third time it's given me this room for level 9. So anyway, I'm not going to bother putting in any more credits, so I'm about to croak it. There we go. So that is Gauntlet. So what do I score it? Well, as a multiplayer game, let's say if there was 2, 3 or 4 of you, I think it's great, and I would score it 8 out of 10. As a single player game, it does get a bit repetitive, it's not as enjoyable, and I would score it 6.5 out of 10. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it can drag on a bit as a single player, and also I'm not so keen on the fact that if you want to play as the warrior or the elf, you're stuck playing the game at rather an awkward angle on the around the cabinet there. So there you go. That is Gauntlet, a great multiplayer game. It's okay as a single player game, but it's far more enjoyable if there's 2 or more of you playing it. So that brings this review to an end, and we shall see you at the next one.